My husband was on the phone yesterday,
Mm.
and I asked Liam, I forgot that my husband was in a call. I said to Liam, go and ask Daddy, does he want beans in tomato sauce or he wants broccoli? And because he's on the phone, so Liam wrote here and put it in front of him so he can select what he
Tick a
wants.
box. That's really cute.
All right, here we
Hit
go.
me.
Welcome to the Rosie and Roula show. Marhaba.
G'day,
Rosie,
Ruler.
this week we kind of have related topics.
Mm.
And this last one today must be Friday if we're good in publishing these episodes. Am I taking a big risk in saying this? Yeah, why am I saying this? Like, what's the
I don't know
purpose of
why
all
you're
of this?
saying.
Shut
I've
up,
got no
Roula.
idea.
Okay.
Shut up and get on with it.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm. How unusual.
Do you think other person is responsible for how they make you feel?
Oh. No. Oh, maybe. It's hard because I still do this. I put other people's feelings before my own, and I worry about how they're going to feel when I say something or make a certain choice or decision. But I don't think that's the right way to do things. You should be looking after yourself. You might hurt somebody, and okay, it's good to be aware that that could be an outcome. But I don't necessarily think you're responsible for that. Perhaps you're partially responsible because you are taking an action and that action is going to have a consequence. But are you fully responsible for it? Hell no.
I'll give you an example, and
Okay.
I want you to build on it.
Okay.
What you said so far is good.
You approve? Okay, good.
Yes, I approve. You come to someone and you tell them about something that's annoying you, a behavior they did that
Okay,
annoys you.
okay.
And that person gets angry, defensive, upset, and they tell you, look how you're making me feel. This is because of you that I'm feeling angry. Because let's say they raised their voice or they said something hurtful, and then you're like, where is this coming from? And then they tell you, you make me feel this way. You made me feel this way.
So it's the person who... Which person is feeling that? Tell me again. I'm
The person
confused.
who's angry,
Yeah.
it could be you. It could be you. So you had an argument or somebody gave you a hard truth.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay, so
then,
Rula, I've done something that's upset you and you've come to me and you've said, look, Rosie, I really don't like it when you do this. And I have got really defensive and angry. Is that what we're saying?
yes,
Okay. All right.
yes. And then you said to me, you accused me that if I didn't bring up this topic, you wouldn't feel
Oh,
angry.
that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That person shouldn't be a friend.
Do you
That
think that
is,
these people
that
exist?
is, I think they do. They're called narcissists.
Oh, okay.
If
Yeah.
I think it's okay. Of course, it's okay to have feelings. And you might come to me and I probably will get angry initially because I'm being called out on something and probably something I didn't realize I was doing. But if I then make it about me and saying you're the one making me upset, well, that's probably what you'd call gaslighting as well. Like, no, that's not okay. You can't, no, I really dislike that. So if
Can
you
you give me a definition of gaslighting? Because maybe the listeners, not
fuck.
all listeners,
I
aware
still
of
struggle
gaslighting.
with this. Gaslighting, I think, is when somebody, it's often in a romantic relationship, not always, someone sort of gets in your head. So, Ruler, if I was gaslighting you, you're feeling like I'm being very dismissive of your feelings and I'm not listening, things like that. And you come to me and you tell me that. And I'll say, well, no, what are you talking about? I'm always so lovely to you and I do this and I do that. And in fact, you're hurting my feelings. Why are you coming and making me feel like shit? I feel so terrible. You're being so mean. That's gaslighting. And if all these responses, eventually you're going to get in your head and start questioning whether what you're feeling is even real. And you'll start buying into this other person's lie that actually it's you causing the problem. That's my understanding of gaslighting, but I think it's quite a complex topic. But that's my understanding.
But it's in a nutshell. You said in relationships, and I was thinking, gosh, I think every HR department gaslighting interviews, not only relationships.
So true. This
But
is so
true.
true.
It could be a romantic. It could be with a family, mother, father, children.
Anyone.
There's gaslighting dynamic happening. I don't know if it's a dynamic, but someone has this dynamic, and then you start doubting. And then when these dynamics and interactions happened, then we don't know anymore what we're feeling. If what we're feeling is our responsibility or is someone else making us feel this way.
It gets very messy.
Yeah.
So what was the initial question?
The initial question is that, is it like the responsibility of others to make you feel better? And it's spot on what you just talked about. Because if someone gaslighting you or telling you, look how you're making me feel, or what you said hurt me, then you have not you, Rosie, but as a person. Then we have the tendency to want to make it better, to make them feel better. And then we forget how we're feeling.
And then we're caught up. That is an abusive situation. That's what. But I think especially as women, this is going to really ruffle some feathers. We are conditioned to like. Roula's flapping her chicken wings. Of course you are. Go watch us on YouTube. Subscribe. Where was I even going? Yes, we're conditioned to appease. So if we might have valid feelings, all our feelings are valid. If they're our feelings, they're valid. That's how we feel. It's our truth. And we tell them something and they get upset and defensive and then start saying we are the ones who've caused the problem. Maybe we did have a role to play, but they're just not listening. They're shoving it back in your face. We often will try to appease them and try to make them feel better. Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm not saying you're a bad person to, try to backpedal a bit.
But then we're left felt like shit.
Right.
Right?
What the fuck? Yeah, that's bullshit. So I think if you're going into a difficult conversation, because that's kind of what this is about, you're going into a difficult conversation, I think you should put some thought into how you do it. Because hopefully, if you're broaching this subject, it's because you want to resolve it and work through it. So I wouldn't come to you, Roula, and just, I don't know, maybe you just finished dinner with your family and I'm going to storm into your house and go, you're really pissing me off, Roula. I'm going to shout like that. I really don't like how you're not editing enough episodes and blah, 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 blah. Just a random example. That probably isn't going to result in a very productive conversation. So I think it's worth me thinking about it. I might be very upset, but I might say, hey, do you have some time this week to have a chat or something? Or even if we don't plan it, I might come in and say, hey, Roula, have you got a minute? I just want to have a chat, rather than barge in and start shouting.
Unspoken words. The fact that someone would come angry or say hurtful things, etc., they're not saying this is how you're making me feel. The receiver feels like, oh, I did something, and that's why they're angry. And I have to fix it.
Oh, but that's a different response altogether. We haven't touched on that response yet. Okay, so the other person feeling like they have to make it better. Ooh. Yeah, that's something we're conditioned to do as well, isn't it? But we don't have to fix the problem. I think we have to have an open conversation, try to understand where the other is coming from.
We don't have to fix the feelings, but we do have to talk about the problem.
I agree. Yeah. And there's a difference between being defensive and actually sharing why maybe it happened. So I think the first thing you need to do is acknowledge the other person's feelings. That's so important. And then it's like, hey, let's reflect on this and be like, oh, I think I did
like
that
this sentence. Let's reflect on this together. It's better than
together.
saying, let's have a chat.
True. Let's have a
I
chat.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's accountability. If you're reflecting, it's accountability. Again, our audience is going to be sick of this word accountability, Roula. I think our numbers might start diving.
No, if they're accountable, they will not get sick of it.
It's true. We don't want people here who are unaccountable.
Everyone. The unaccountable one, that's not their fault.
Yeah, piss off. Don't want you. Yep. When you're ready to be accountable, come back. But it's not about making the other one feel better. I think it's about connection and trying to come to some sort of resolution. But I also think sometimes the resolution is no longer having a relationship with that person. And that's okay. You don't always have to make it work. You can walk away. Okay. That's okay. It's not failing.
Because if you have these feelings, whatever feelings you're going through, and you reflect and you decide to calmly, genuinely, and kindly address them.
Right. Uh-huh.
And the other person still overreact, then it's a sign that it's not your responsibility how they're feeling. Because you took all the rational steps to have an open, honest, respectful, kind conversation.
And they're not willing to do that. Yeah.
Yes. I'm guilty of this. I can also go like, oh, I'm so bothered, or why did you do this? And then I realize we practice this at home.
Have you?
Talk
Okay.
about this topic very much. And then, okay, no, I can do better next time. I'm going to go, next time, I will not go in the moment, the heat of the moment. I'm going to reflect and go with the kindness and respect and understanding to this conversation. And yes, I cannot say that the other person will always be open for it and accepting for it, but it's not my responsibility what they're feeling.
Right.
I only
and do you think it's your responsibility? Do you think it's your responsibility to go to the other person and tell them what's upsetting you?
Oh, definitely. And the way we do it is getting an overreaction or a good reaction. And as you said, if the other person, no matter what we do, is overreacting, then they're gaslighting us. Or they're having we're no expert to talk about narcissism, but...
No, definitely. It is an actual condition, people. Yeah.
In us. Yes,
yeah,
we know.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 So our responsibility is to sit with our feeling, understand it, and take it kindly to the other person.
Okay. I just want to interject. Yeah. You continue. I interjected at the wrong moment. No? Okay.
I do.
My interjection would be, and I say this because I fall into this trap, we don't have to go to the other person. If we want to continue a relationship with them, yes, we do. We are accountable. We need to go to them. If it's crossed a line and we want to walk away, you don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them anything. Would you agree?
Even with the person you want a relationship with, choose your battles.
Choose your battles well. True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But can you live with that?
Well, then if a person cannot want to fight every battle, their life must be really hard.
This is true. Focus on the important things.
Yeah. And I really learned this in the therapy I had when we were having difficult times, especially with my teenage daughters. I learned in therapy to choose my battles. Not everything I should battle with, not everything I want to be. I should not worry about everything. And when I worry about everything, I make a battle out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I say it with real, sincere trust that we must choose our battles.
And it's not to say we should just quash down these things that are annoying us, but it's about looking at it, isn't it? And going, well, is this worth being upset about? Is it really worth all this anguish in an argument because it pisses me off that they loaded the dishwasher in a different order than I do? Maybe it is.
Rosie,
But maybe
90%
it
of the
isn't.
time, something we could have done differently
Yeah.
ourselves.
Okay. Yeah.
Like loading the dishwasher. Why does it have to be my way?
Yeah. Exactly. You're almost creating the problem.
Yeah.
Mm.
I like this conversation. It went a little bit deep and it wasn't as playful and fun as usual. But you know, people, we're living our lives every day, and this is where we're getting our topics from.
I liked this one, actually. It was good.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
If you got a kick out of our conversation today, can you pretty please hit the follow button and share it with another opinionated person? This is the easiest way for you to support the show. It also gives Roula and I the motivation
Rosie,
to keep
I have
going.
to stop you there. Stop telling people what to do. If they like to follow the show and share it, it's totally up to them. Guys, please, can you help us follow and share the show? Thank you so much. See you next time.
Said.